Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov chess channel and welcome to a new chess opening theory video. So in this video I wanted to show you how to beat one of the most popular defenses now these days against d4. Today I wanted to show you how to beat the Semi-Slav defense. And the Semi-Slav defense I think is very popular because many beginners are starting to play the Semi-Slav defense and then they probably also play the Kadokan defense. In my opinion, the concepts of the Kadokan and also of the Semi-Slav defense are really different. They're not the same. You're not even getting similar positional ideas. You're not even getting the same middle game ideas. So in my opinion, if you're maybe a Kadokan defense player, of course you want to reach similar pawn structures, but in my opinion it's a really different whole strategy in the middle game stage. So here in this video I wanted to show you actually, as I said, how to beat the Semi-Slav defense with a beautiful theoretical novelty. This novelty that I'll show you has never been played in top GM level, international master level, I don't know, FIDE master level, Candidate master level. The only games that I could find in this beautiful line is here in the Lee Chess database. Many players play this line, but also with, I think, I don't know, 50-50 success. So here I wanted to show you really this progressive idea with really also a spectacular tactics in the middle game stage. So let's see now what's all about. What's this idea against this Semi-Slav defense with the white pieces. So first of all, we open with the move d4. Our opponent's response is d5. We go into the queen's gambit. After move e6, the queen's gambit declined. Knight to f3, knight to f6, and after knight to c3 we have the three knights variation, and now the transposition into the Semi-Slav defense. Notice the light square bishop is many times the problem in these types of structures because it's simply blocked out by its own pawns. My recommendation, if you don't want to play too complicated games in the Semi-Slav defense, is to go into the exchange variation, because the pressure now in the center is released. Of course, you're liberating now also the light square bishop for your opponent, but now we play a tricky line, queen to c2. First of all, this move prevents this bishop to come on f5. We're not allowing him to develop in this way. Then, of course, black will try maybe even bishop to g4, but many times black simply continues with the move bishop to d6. We have now bishop to g5, attacking the knight, so simply normal development, kingside castling, and now we play e3 with the preparation to play the move bishop to d3. Now in one of the most popular lines, black is continuing with the knight from b to d7, simply fixing more this knight on f6. Of course, then black wants to play freely with the queen, because if you play immediately with the queen, then of course we hit the knight immediately, then g takes f6 messes up the pawn structure, and then after queen to c2, bishop to d3, this attack on light squares is simply unstoppable then for black. So that's why knight to d7, very popular line now for black. Now we continue again with normal development with bishop to d3. Again, if black doesn't react correctly, for instance, if black plays now the move rook to e8, then you have always this tactic black cannot take because of the pin by the bishop against the knight. Be careful also here from black's perspective. So now after bishop to d3, now the fun starts. Black continues with the move h6. We continue with the bishop to h4, staying of course on this diagonal. And now after rook to e8, we simply castle. Now black could play a very tricky idea, g5. g5 forces us now of course to react, and we have to play now bishop to g3. There is simply no good tactic here after knight to g5. If you maybe asking yourself the question if knight to g5 is possible, it's actually not. So you don't gain anything. You'll not win the game because you took maybe 2 pawns for the minor piece, because black still has a great defense, still has this powerful bishop that could control then the dark square. So don't play knight to g5. So after g5 we play now bishop to g3, and now in many of these lines black is continuing now with the move bishop to g3. The problem here is now that in the many times, as I said, in chess history, h takes g3 has been played in order to keep the healthy pawn structure here on the king side, but actually the more progressive way, the more aggressive, even the best way here is actually, believe me, not to play f takes g3. Simply giving up a pawn, but the main issue is here now that the f file is open. So seems strange, but you see now how dirty this attack can be, because first of all, let's see what happens if you play h takes g3. I'm not saying this is a mistake or something, inaccuracy or blunder by white, but you get, I think, better position. I think you get more progressive ideas if you play f takes g3. After h takes g3, black will probably continue with queen to e7 and will try to fix his structure with the move knight to e4, we'll try to cement the knight on e4. Then you have to maybe even play some passive moves like knight to d2, then knight to b6, maybe then bishop to g4, rerouting the bishop. So playable. As I said, nothing wrong with this position, but if in one moment maybe black cements somehow the position around the square e4, you will not have a good time kicking it away from the e4 square, because you cannot play f3. Then of course many times the g3 pawn is hanging. So okay, as I said, my recommendation here is to play now f takes g3. Let's see now black's options. Let's see now first of all this slightly passive ideas. Of course, the obvious idea by black should be simply taking out now the pawn on e3. But let's see now what happens if, for instance, black continues with one of the many ideas that you can play here, a5, maybe with the preparation to play, I don't know, b6, and then bishop to a6, trading off here the light square bishop. The light square bishop is, I think, the most powerful piece here of white on the board. So maybe with b6, bishop to a6, as I said, black can simplify the game. As I said, we'll come to this part where black takes out now the pawn on e3. There's also the idea with knight to g4. But let's see, as I said, what happens if black continues with the move a5. Now we play rook to e1. Now maybe he could try b5. And now one of the most beautiful ideas about this setup here is now the progressive idea h4. This move h4 you see now many times in the continuation of our analysis, because after h4 black of course needs now to make a reaction here with the move g4. Now we attack the pawn, and now he could maybe try bishop to a6, as I said, with the preparation then to play the move b4. Now we play e4. We have immediately the opportunity to break and enter, because we have here a beautiful activity, and the beautiful part about this move f takes g3 is that the f file is open, so there is a clear target now for white, the f7 weakness. So far it's well protected and it's well covered, but in the next couple of moves you could get destroyed here from black's perspective around the square f7. So after move e4, black could maybe try the move b4, but now we play bishop to a6, rook to a6, and now e5. And after knight to b takes c3, and we don't pick up the knight on f6, we play simply b takes c3. The issue is here that the knight has to move now, and look at this. After queen to e2, the rook is hanging. If you retreat with the rook, look at this, then you get this one, queen to g4. You have to play king to f8. We simply pick up here the piece on e4. Look at this, queen to g6. We simply continue the attacking flow. Look at this, rook to f5, rook to g5 is going to happen. So black is getting here destroyed for sure. So as I said, instead of this move rook to a8, you could maybe try to protect simply the pawn, but then your rook is hanging here on a6. So see, this is really dirty. The f file attack, the potential g file attack is always possible, but the most important idea here to find is this beautiful h4 move that forces black to react here on this side of the board. So let's go back. As we said, after f takes g3, if a5 happens, then we have this progressive plan, rook to e1, and then h4, h4, h4. Memorize this move. This move is letting this position explode here on this side of the board. So let's see what happens if black continues with the obvious knight to g4. Knight to g4 is also an interesting choice. Of course, it's an obvious choice because black wants to, of course, recapture the pawn on e3 with an attack against the rook and also against the queen. Wants to, of course, to deliver a fork. So we now, first of all, protect with queen to d2. If rook to e3 happens, then, of course, we simply kick away the knight that's protecting the rook. So that's why knight to e3 has to be played. But now we play rook to e1. If, for instance, knight to g4 happens, then the problem is now we simply here trade off the rooks on e8. After rook takes, queen takes e8, rook to e1, we simply continue the pressure. And in some lines, even knight to g5, queen to g5 is a possibility if black doesn't react correctly. So again, many tactical opportunities here for white. So here after knight to g4, and as we said, knight to e3, we play rook to e3. If black continues with knight to c4, then we have this one, rook to e8 again, queen to e8. We simply pick up now the knight on c4, and after d takes c4, again h4. h4, h4, h4. Never forget about this move. Black, of course, could maybe try g4, but now we simply attack the queen again. Look at this. The problem for black is now the bishop never came into the game, the rook never came into the game, and now we play beautiful knight to e5. This is enough, I think, because look at this. After knight takes e5, d takes e5, Black cannot control the e4 square. Black cannot also control both squares, the e4 and g4 square. We simply attack now the bishop. Bishop retreats, and now we pick up this one. If he, of course, retreats to e6, then the knight comes in a beautiful and spectacular way into the game. Look at this: knight to e4, knight to f6, rook to d1 is still an opportunity. So the dark square problems will cause here, I think, simply black the game. So as I said, that was our analysis after f takes g3 with knight to g4, or here with move a5. But now the fun starts after rook takes e3. What should we do? After rook to e3, we lost the pawn, and it seems so that this should be not enough, not that we don't have enough compensation for the lost pawn. But now we simply attack now here the rook. Where should black go? If, for instance, black retreats now, let's see now the first option. If black retreats now to e7, then we simply play a beautiful here, a rook to c1, a delaying move. We don't have to rush here. We just improve the position of our pieces. We just improve our activity. For instance, again, black could try maybe this whole plan with b6, a5, bishop to a6. But if that happens, you can guess the move, h4. That's now the most important strategic plan here. Again, after something like, I don't know, maybe even here g takes h4, we simply pick up here the piece. If, of course, g4 happens, then we can immediately lock here the connection between the queen and the rook, and actually the rook would be here trapped. In one moment, I think black has to even sacrifice the rook for the exchange here for the knight on e5, so it's not working. So after h4, what of course black could do is g takes h4. What now we play knight to h4 with the preparation to play knight to f5 here. Knight to f8 must move. We play bishop to f5, continue the pressure. We have here knight to d7 maybe, and now we simply retreat to g4, maybe bishop to e6. But the main issue that in one moment this rook will be trapped for sure. We simply take, and now also we can take out here the pawn on h6. So as I said, here after f takes g3, rook takes e3, and queen to d7, queen to d2, queen to e7 is not a good option because you're standing in the way of your own rook. Your rook is then paralyzed. Your rook doesn't have escape route. So then the main concept is, as I said, h4. After something like g4, then we lock the connection between the queen on e7 and the rook on e3. We grab the exchange, and this is then a devastating position then for black. What should black do here? Maybe black can go here also to e8, but now the fun starts. Now we have this one. Sorry about that. So as we said, rook to e3, we attack, he retreats to e8. Now we play beautiful knight takes g5. Knight takes g5 is a stunning tactic because after h takes g5, queen to g5, where should black go? If he goes to h8, then we have this one, again a new check. You cannot cover because of the bishops and queen's activity. So you have to go here to f8, but now we play beautiful check again. If you try to escape here towards this side of the board, then we have this one, rook from a to e1. You have to cover with take, then also rook to f7 is possible. Look at this, bishop to c4. You have to go here, and now after a couple more moves, the game is over here for black. So look at this, queen to h6, really amazing stuff here. So what could you do? Again, as I said, here maybe king to h8, queen to h6, maybe again escape. But as I said, then the rook is coming into the game. The whole concept is now to play rook to g4 here. If knight to g4 happens, then queen to h7. The knight gets deflected from the square. So many dirty ideas here for white. So let's go back. After f takes g3, queen rook to e3 with attack. What black could do is of course also to retreat here to the square e7, but again with the same power here. Knight takes g5, h takes g5, queen to g5, king to f8. Now it's even worse because you took an escape route for your king. Now after king to e8, we simply deliver check, and now this knight is lost here because there's simply no connection between both of them. So it's a devastating position here for black. Okay, let's see. After rook to e3, queen to d2, you could maybe try rook to e6. Rook to e6 seems interesting because it protects now finally your knight on f6. But now again, knight to g5, h to g5, queen to g5, king to f8. We have here bishop to f5. If, for instance, something like rook to e7, then there is this one, bishop to d7. If you don't want to lose the knight, of course, you have to play knight to d7, and now we have a beautiful, stunning tactic. Rook takes f7. Really, really well stuff. Now look at this. After rook to f7, the queen is hanging, so that's why you have to pick it up now with the king. But now this other rook is coming into the game. You have to maybe even step back, but now you have to cover. We simply deliver a check, and now after rook to d6, the game is over. Here for black, we'll pick up the queen. We have 3 connected passers here on this side of the board, so it's game over. So let's go back. What you could do, as I said, instead of this move, maybe rook to e6, rook to e8, rook to e7 we have seen. So whatever you do, the problem is now always where to go with the rook. So in my opinion, really, really a beautiful, stunning tactic. As I said, if you don't know what to do, then of course always there is this plan that always works. h4, messing up the structure here. If he goes here, then we can even trade it off, picking up the pawn on g5. So he cannot really protect the pawn on g5. And the problem, as I said, in this setup is that the light square bishop and also the rook and a8 never participated in the game. So you have to destroy him because of that. You have to punish his lack of development in this particular line. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this analysis. This is, I think, very important stuff. I have seen many times this line. I'm playing the exchange variation of the Slav defense many times, and I found out about this particular tactics, about this particular sort of novelty with the usage of my Stockfish engine. So I use the Stockfish engine. Stockfish shows simply f takes g3 as the best progressive plan, in my opinion. Very, very interesting choice, in my opinion. Spectacular way to destroy the Semi-Slav defense. So okay, if you want to see more about chess opening theory here on my YouTube chess channel, you can check out my Queen's Game Declined, also my analysis of the Semi-Slav defense, and if you want to see maybe the top engines battling it out, check out also my commented chess games played by computer series. Here's also the link, and if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what do we say? Chess is the best, of course.